Hi, Katrina Johnson from Cats Incorporated, and I just wanted to share with you today the 5 things, the 5 steps you need to take now that you have your NDIS planning meeting. We're getting a lot of the families we support saying to us, well, I've had my planning meeting, but now what? Well, there are 5 steps that you can take, and I'm just going to go over them really briefly now. Step 1, let your existing service provider know that you've actually had your planning meeting. Why? Well, it only takes about 7 to 10 days for your planning meeting to turn into an approved plan date. And it's important for your service providers and for you to let your service providers know what that date is that you've had your planning meeting, so that if you want to continue services with them, you can start those discussions. Step 2, start talking to the service providers and the services that you wish to engage under your approved plan funding. Why? Well, by the time you get your approved plan date and you've got your plan in your hot little hands, your funding is already kicked off and started. So you want to make sure that you're super ready and super prepared so you can go to those services when you know your approved plan date and you know what's in your plan and start those services. Step 3, get familiar with your My Place portal. Why? Because the My Place portal is where all of the information is kept about your plan, about the funding you've received, the service bookings, and how much you've spent and how much you have left. Step 4, and this one's really important. It could probably even be your first step, either step even before step 1, and that is communicate to your son or daughter or the person with a disability that they are going to have some changes to the way their supports are funded. Why? Well, these changes are confusing enough for you and I, so you can guarantee that they're very confusing for the person as well. And they need to know that things might not be exactly the same as what they are right now. Step 5. Be prepared to enter into service contracts and agreements directly with your service provider. Why? Well, previously, if you were funded under the Disability Services Queensland, your provider was in an agreement and a contract directly with the government. Well, that no longer exists. Any supports you get will be an agreement directly between you and the services that you want to contract and use under your approved plan. So they're my 5 steps to do once you've had your planning meeting. But I'll give you a few extra tips just because I think you'll find them useful. Tip number 1, your LAC or your NDI planner is there to help you through the transition. They're there to help you make your approved plan into an active action implemented plan. So use them. They are a resource available to you. Tip number 2, if you've had your planning meeting and you're a little bit unsure, or you had it over the phone and you don't really feel that you got a chance, or the person, your son or daughter with a disability, or the person you support with a disability didn't really get an opportunity to express themselves properly or as thoroughly and accurately as they would have liked, or you're not happy with your plan, then ask questions. Talk to your NDIA planner and let them know your concerns. And my 3rd and final tip is, if you haven't been contacted yet by an NDIA planner, don't panic. Now, you're not going to miss out, you're especially not going to miss out if you're already in receipt of funding and already being serviced by a service provider. They'll get to you all in good time. Don't panic. And also know that you don't have to do your planning meeting over the phone. If you think that a planning meeting over the phone doesn't represent your needs and the needs of your son or daughter with a disability or the person that you care for, then you can request a face-to-face meeting. All you have to say is, I would really like to do my planning meeting face-to-face. And they will stop and they will plan a time to do your face-to-face meeting. They might tell you, well, you'll have to wait a bit longer because we'll have to schedule it. That's okay. What you want to do is to get the best outcome for you and your son or daughter with a disability or the person that you care for. All right, that's all for now. I'm going to be giving you more details on each of these steps over the coming days, and they will roll out. So stay tuned if you want to know more about how to go about each of those steps. Thanks. Bye.